Alright guys, welcome to another video of our weekly analysis on SPY. So again, if you guys do like this analysis, you find it helpful for your own trading, feel free to give us a subscribe. We do post weekly analysis every week for your trading. So if this is a help for you, feel free to subscribe. But without further ado, let's get right into the charts. So let's start with the SPY weekly chart here. Go straight to the last weekly bar. And what do we see here? So as I noted, we had our first technical pullback right here on this candle. So if I get my little arrow, that was the first pullback. If you see here, we never had a low of the weekly, like every single low on our weekly candles, they were higher than the previous week's candle. So there was no defined technical pullback. We finally saw that in the first week of January. Again, much needed, right? And what we see now is we make new highs, and in fact, we make new all-time highs. So the market continues to demonstrate its strength, right? There's no denying that. From a weekly bar perspective, again, just as as frequent and as common as it's now become, this last weekly candle again goes 2 for 2 for the buyers. We have a higher low and a higher high relative to the previous candle. So buyers are there and they've showed their strength very, very conclusively. If we scroll up a little bit, scroll out, sorry, a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of can draw a little bit of a symmetric triangle or symmetric wedge. We can get rid of this arrow. And you can see, right, we clearly broke out. And, some could say, well, what if we pull back? At any point, do we pull back? Could there be an opportunity to buy? Is there any sort of ideal area for entry? And the most common one I see would be this one right here, right off the top of this ascending wedge or symmetrical triangle here. You got that resistance line. Aligns roughly with about 450. If you guys also remember, we did draw a bit of a supply zone here, right off this level. So there's a supply zone that's now could be retested as an area of demand. So if that happens as well, there's a lot of confluence at that 450 level. Pretty far right now. I don't know if we'll get that this week. Probably not. But if we do end up retracing in the near future, this is also a really nice place to watch. So overall bullish sentiment on the weekly chart. There's nothing much really to say from the shorts perspective. Bulls are firing on all cylinders here. So definitely bullish from the weekly time frame assessment. If we now go into, I would say, the daily chart. Let's look at the daily chart. So if you guys remember, and I did release a video of this on our social media pages. Again, go check that out if that's something that interests you. But market conditions, I noted they've changed. So if I look at essentially this, so they temporarily changed. So we had a big bullish market leading into the new year, right? With like this very clear higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, just straight up. And then we had a period between, I would say, the 14th of December all the way until just recently, I believe Thursday. We're in this range right here, 477 to about 467. And really, it's that time period. You can say, right, market conditions have changed. We weren't just going up, so there wasn't really much of a trend to capture in this range. We were just looking more for like base hits, right? If the market's not really moving here, like what can we realistically capture? It's more like those smaller base hits, not those crazy like big trend days as we've seen before. Excuse me, this range here. So looking at that, and if we extend this out, should the market, like I said, it retrace? Let's get our tool here, our path. should the market retrace, there's also an area here at about 477 to 478. Let's make that about there. I would say 477 to 478. Probably better to say 478. But, you know, it's all an estimate. 477 to 478 does look like a good retest area. It would be the top of this range that we just broke out of. It would look really good from a retest perspective. But if the market just has been consolidating for the past month, so I wouldn't be surprised if we just keep going higher. There's really, again, like the Bulls are just, full on. There's not really much to say from the Bears perspective. I could definitely see Bears sitting on the sidelines for now. So I would be very cautious of a short at this moment of time, unless, price action does change, the market structure begins to change a little bit, then we have some evidence to work with from the Bears perspective. But as of right now, it doesn't look good from the Bears perspective. It looks very good from the Bulls perspective. If we look at the 15-minute chart here, if we try and look at, what sort of path do we have here for, Monday, something like near term. So for tomorrow, let's see, I think I had, okay, I don't. So I would say if we look at how nice this price action is, right, just straight up, let's let's put a little bit of some levels here. I would say right, about 480, 81-ish right there. You get the low, right? Basically from where we catapulted up into all-time highs on Friday, about 477. And then we also have 483. But I guess it's 482.75 about like right there. So you can see some very clear levels. I would say in this level or higher, I would be bullish. So bullish above 471. There's like 481 right here. Right, so if you remain above this support line, it does look good for us to go higher. I would remain bullish here. I would say I'm probably a bit more neutral here. So I would say neutral, but slightly bullish still in this area. Right, coming back into this big range here. Maybe we can find some level of demand. There's definitely a near-term demand zone if you look at let's get a rectangle tool. There is some areas of demand here. So you could still be slightly bullish there should we come back into that zone. So I'm neutral to slightly bullish, but very bullish above 481. I do think we see continuation there. Hands down, it looks really, really good. And then below 477, if you have this, I would say it's rare at this point to see this tomorrow. But if we do come back below 477, have this big gap down, I definitely would be bearish below 477. And remember, this is actually just about that retest level of the upper bound of the range we saw on the daily chart just recently. So should we come back below it, I mean, like something like this, right? It's rare. I don't see this happening. If it does, though, anything can happen. Bearish in that case. I'll highlight that with red. And then, but of course, you could always probably see something like this as well from the bullish perspective. And then, of course, the market just wants to continue to rally, likely something like this, right? So those are the scenarios I see for Monday. But of course, more or less just going into the week. I'm bullish above 481 here. I'm neutral here. Again, still slightly bullish. Remember, there's really not enough for me to say that bears are in control here. We have to see maybe some lower high take place. Like if there's a lower high, maybe like right here. Sure, I could start looking at some price action for puts, but still slightly bullish. There's a really nice demand zone right there. And then back below 477, we get back into that range. Yeah, I would definitely start looking for puts there. But still, overall, as of this moment, where price action stands right now, bullish, right? Hands down bullish. Definitely looking for upside continuation there, particularly above 481.